Welcome back to the Training Playbook series, where we break down what actually makes workplace training stick. In our last episode, we talked about why most training programs miss the mark. Today, we are digging into a major culprit, which is disengagement. Let's be real, how often have we attended a training session that just felt like a one sided lecture? Just someone on the other side of the screen talking to us, slide after slide, while we just sit there zoning out. Turns out this isn't just a bad training problem, it's a brain problem that we have. Research shows that passive learning leads to only 5 to 10% knowledge retention, while active learning boosts retention to 60 to 75%. There's a huge difference. And yet, so many companies still rely on listen only webinars or text heavy e learning modules. So, Jaya, from all the programs that you've hosted or designed, why is engagement the key to training that actually works?
Great question, Prachi. The challenge here is that our brains are designed to passively absorb information like sponges. When people are simply watching or listening, their brain shift into passive processing mode. There's no mental effort, no engagement, no active engagement rather, and no reason to retain the information. Think about it. Would you learn to swim by just watching a YouTube video? Of course not. You have to get in the water. Training works the same way. Without hands on participation, information tends to slip right through the cracks. Now, here is the interesting part. Our attention spans are shortened than ever. Study shows that after just 10 minutes of passive listening, engagement drops by over 50%. But when you introduce interactive elements like polls, challenges, or group discussions, people stay focused and they retain far more. Here are some key stats to keep in mind. In a lecture style setting, retention is under 10% after just 48 hours. But with interactive training that includes discussions, activities, peer collaboration, retention can skyrocket to 75% or maybe even more. So companies that prioritize engagement focused training see 50% participation rate and 30% increase in knowledge application. So the real question isn't just are we training employees, rather it's are we getting them to actively participate?
That's amazing. Actually, that really changes how we think about training. But here's another debate I keep hearing, live versus self paced learning. Some teams swear by live workshops because they drive real time engagement and accountability. Others say like asynchronous learnings is the future because employees need more flexibility. And I've seen teams struggle to choose between the two. So if engagement is the goal, what actually works better?
I'd say, Prachi, both live and self-paced training have their own place. So I'll share a few insights. Maybe I'll add some examples of Emit, how we do it at Emit when we choose to do what, and that'll make more sense to your question. So when it comes to live training at Emit, for all the real-time collaboration, for example, we have Emit sales team, and we would like to train them on new features when any new feature is launched. The sales team participates in live role-playing exercise where they practice selling the feature to different customer personas. This allows for immediate feedback and collaboration on best approaches. Then quick adaptation. So live training also helps the team adapt quickly. If a new feature is released with urgent updates, live sessions are used to train the team in real time, allowing them to ask their questions and adjust their sales pitches on the spot. Then higher accountability. ME's leadership makes sure that everyone attends these live sessions because they know that the sales team's ability to engage during the session directly impacts their ability to sell the new features effectively. And then I'll give you an example of self-paced training at MEH, like when do we inculcate those modules? For modular trainings. So for example, MEH uses self-paced learning for its more technical aspects. For example, team members are given access to recorded trainings or the videos or the FAQs or the tutorials about the new features. These resources are modular and can be revisited as needed. Perfect for when the sales team wants to revisit specific detail about the feature works. Then we have global team across different time zones. Since Meet has team members across different time zones, they use self-paced learning to allow everyone to access the same content and on their own schedule. Sales reps can complete training at their own pace without worrying about the time zone differences. So I would say hybrid model is the key, wherein AirMeet combines both live and self-paced element in hybrid model. After each live training session on a new feature, employee have access to additional self-paced module for deeper dives into the technicalities. This blends ensure that the team gets the best of both worlds, immediate collaboration and feedback through live sessions, along with the flexibility to learn at their own paces. So the result here is by using this hybrid approach, we've seen that a 35% improvement in feature adoption and sales performance. As employees could quickly apply what they learn in live session and then reinforce that learning with self-paced content. This approach not only boosts knowledge retention, but also enables better real-time application of new features.
I love the example. So much interesting and make us understand both the concepts so clearly. All right, let's get into some of the tactical things. We know that engagement is always equal to retention, but how do we actually make trainings interactive? What are some of the proven engagement strategies teams can start using as soon as possible?
Here are some hands-on ways to turn passive training into active learning. The first could be real-time polls and quick wins. So ask a question within the first 2 minutes to shift people from observer to participant mode. Tools like Mentimeter, Slido, or Kahoot, it boosts engagement by 60%. And the sources are from Training Industry Report. So if you're hosting your session on AirMeet, you can even integrate these elements directly within the platform to keep participants engaged and ensure they stay focused without deviating from the flow of the session. So all these Mentimeter, Slido, and Kahoot, they can be integrated there. Then the second could be scenario-based challenges. Rather than just telling employees how to handle a situation, turn theory into real world challenges. For instance, instead of simply telling employees, here's how to handle an upset customer, give them a real world scenario to solve. At Meet also, when we do our soft skills trainings for support functions or different team members are presented with a scenario where a customer is frustrated with technical issue and the employee then needs to navigate the situation, applying their knowledge and communication skills to resolve it. This method encourages critical thinking, help employees practice problem solving in a safe environment, and ultimately builds the soft skills they need in a practical and hands-on way. Then the third I would say is the breakout room and peer coaching. Small group discussion boosts participation by over 80%. So peer-led coaching can triple knowledge application, fostering deeper learning through collaboration and feedback. Then AI-powered simulations and gamification. So AI tools like Rehearsal AI and ChatGPT provides real-time feedback during simulations, while gamified elements like leaderboard maintain long-term engagement and drive motivation. Social learning and micro communities could be another one, where platform like Slack or Team are perfect for fostering ongoing Q&A, mentorship, and knowledge sharing. For instance, IBM's Peer Learning Slack channel resulted in a 41 faster skill adoption. So we also applied a similar approach within our teams, using Slack to create weekly polls and sharing quizzes. It brought everyone together and it made learning more interactive and engaging. This is what we also applied in AirMeet at AirMeet.
Amazing, Jaya. You explained everything so. Jaya, I remember a leadership training I took last year. It was full of like great insights, and I even took notes. But a month later, I could only recall maybe one or two key points. The rest just faded. On the other hand, the trainings where we actually practice the skill in real time, that stuck with me for months, and I'm sure a lot of teams experience this. So, beyond just making sessions interactive, what actually makes the training stick long term in employees?
Great question, Prachi. Engagement isn't just about keeping people entertained, it's about making the learning unforgettable. So, here's what makes it really stick. One is emotion driven learning. We all remember things that trigger our emotions. That's why storytelling or real life case studies and role playings are so powerful. They can boost retention by up to 22% to compare to just static presentations. And then spaced repetition. Without reinforcement, we forget a huge chunk of what we learn, like 70% of new info in just 24 hours. Simple follow ups like recap emails, quizzes, or even Slack reminders can double how much people actually retain. And then real world application is the key. It's true, use it or lose it. So, employees who apply what they've learned within a week retain up to 70% of more knowledge than those who don't put it into practice. Then peer accountability. When employees discuss, teach, or coach each other, they internalize knowledge 3 times faster than learning alone. So the power of peer learning is real, and these are few things should be inculcated by every individual learner. I'm not talking about any companies at this point, but every individual learner should look into focusing on these points.
I love these strategies. But for our audience, let's make this real. Do you have an example of a company that transformed its training with the engagement first strategy?
Absolutely. Unilever implemented an AI tool to personalize training for its managers, leading up to 25% boost in leadership development effectiveness. This demonstrates how AI can tailor learning to individual strengths, making leadership training more impactful. I would say here's another example from M8. Recently, we launched a learning program for our success manager. We use simple collaboration tools like Miro board during sessions on M8, creating a highly interactive experience. The session was power packed with engagement, resulting in improved client handling and strong relationship.
That's incredible. So, I think post the complete session, the key takeaway that I will have would be the engagement isn't a nice to have thing, but it's a must in today's time. If we want training to work, we have to ditch passive learning and focus on active participation. And the best part, you don't need a huge budget. Small tweaks like peer learning, gamification, and live coaching can drive huge results. And Jay, what's the one thing you would recommend teams implement today?
Say start small. Turn one-way training into two-way conversation. Even simple changes like live quizzes, breakout discussions, or peer teaching, like you mentioned, can double the engagement overnight. So it's must to start. That's the key.
And that's a wrap for episode 2. And in our next episode, we'll be breaking down the tech powered learning, picking the right tool for maximum impact in your training sessions. So don't miss it. And if you want a step by step framework or would love to connect with our event experts, feel free to set up some time with us. See you in the next episode.